Welcome to Roaming with Restless Women, real talk with wise, dynamic women leaders. I'm your host, Julie Noonan, CEO and founder of Intuitive Wisdom Coaching, and I'm living my dream life. I live and work in my RV, coaching senior women leaders as they navigate corporate politics, family drama, and personal goals to live their own dream lives. These women are restless. They are never done seeking new opportunities, learning, and creating value in the world. If you'd like to apply to be on the show, stick around to the end and I'll let you know how. Let's go. Welcome to today's edition of Roaming with Restless Women. Today, I have a dear friend and a colleague, April Ballestero. April has been transforming the lives of executives and leaders and high-achieving professionals since way back in 2003. Her coaching goes beyond the conventional, focusing not just on visible goals like expanding your network and increasing income, but on a deeper, more holistic level. April's unique approach involves delving into the inner layers of her clients' lives, unlocking profound insights and light bulb moments, essential for true growth and success. April's clients have achieved remarkable feats, doubling their revenue, building strong, healthy, connected teams, and significantly enhancing productivity. These successes stem from a personalized approach to coaching, where April helps each individual explore their inner world and apply these discoveries to achieve tangible results. Drawing from her extensive experience of over 10,000 coaching hours, April has worked with C-suite executives, entrepreneurs, and individuals from various walks of life. Her methods have led to increased satisfaction and success for thousands as she guides them to discover and embrace authenticity and embark on a sustainable journey to wellness and wholeness. April's philosophy, encapsulated in her living unlayered approach, is not about adhering to a rigid formula, but about unlocking the unique potential within each individual. As an executive coach, author, and speaker, April's committed to helping you redefine your path to success and discover the joy of living an authentic, unlayered life. So, April, welcome. I'm so happy that you're here with us today.
Julie, it's my pleasure, and I'm very thankful for the opportunity.
Excellent. Well, I always like to start off with one question that's a little bit about, okay, tell me how your journey started. Your journey of life and or your journey of your career.
Well, life would take quite a long time.
Yeah.
So start with the career.
Okay.
And I am wearing, as I wanted to share, the unlayered concept, living from the inside out. It's in Slaying the Onion, and it's a lot more conversation. I'm sure we'll cover a couple pieces of it today.
Mm-hmm.
Yet the journey and career-wise, I've actually walked up to when I've been 20 plus years in the real estate industry. I've been 20 plus years in the training and education. I've taught as a high school teacher. I have had immense amount of background. As we were talking about, I have a master's degree, a bachelor's degree. I also get to be in so many different arenas and so many different industries over the years. So yet I remember walking up to my broker in the real estate arena, and I said at the time, I've been the jack of all trades, and I really want to master coaching because, I mean, I've worked for a singles connection when I was in high school. I worked for a movie theater. I mean, I did all kinds of unique different things, even doing auto sale, not sales, but the actual service industry. I was on the drive. I mean, I remember when I went in for a part-time job when I was raising my kids and thinking, oh, I just need an extra job for some cash. And they're like, oh, you have auto industry experience. Do you want to consider being on the sales or actually in the service drive and actually being a service writer? And I'm like, I don't know anything about cars. And the gentleman's like, we'll teach you.
Oh,
and I learned
wow.
so much about the awareness of how important it is to maintain your vehicle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all those things gave me the ability to be in the real estate arena because I was able to pretty much talk to anybody in any type of industry. So as I was going through the sales career, I actually sold Nextel phones. I mean, I've done a ridiculous amount of different professions. So I share all that. That's one lifetime, right? And
Yeah.
and as I was raising, I remember a friend came up to me in 2006. So in my real estate career, I was a big advocate for a program called Easter Sales. And I met this amazing gentleman. I've told people I learned how to be a fundraiser for a golf tournament through The Apprentice because I remember watching The Apprentice and they taught me how to do a golf tournament. And we raised money for Easter sales through the real estate world for Easter sales. And this gentleman, he's just like, April, they need to hear your wisdom. So in April of 2006, I actually did my first seminar. And that was still was teaching real estate, raising my kids, all that fun stuff. I mean, it was just a whole journey there.
Hmm.
So April 6th, I did a 6-hour seminar, and that was my first on-stage appearance, if you will, as an executive. But I didn't realize I'm an executive at the time. I was just a public speaker, right?
Right.
So by 2009, I walked up to the broker, I've been the jack of all trades. I really want to master coaching. And he's like,
Mhm.
well, help me understand. And so through a journey, I interviewed some of the top producers, top companies, and we ended up creating a position for the director of sales coaching and mentoring. That was 2009. I was actually did a couple years traveling 35 different real estate offices, title, property management, lenders, real estate agents. And I had done some interviewing of leadership coaching, life coaching, all the different coaching aspects of it. And I really discovered that I had so much experience. Business coaching was really the best path for me.
Hmm.
So through that journey, again, 2006, I did my first seminar. 2009, I got, and in the middle of that, again, I was teaching high school. So they're and raising
Wow.
2 kids, right? So there was just so much going on there. That was just the beginning of the journey. And so fast forward from 2009 to today, I've had multiple coaching opportunities. I expanded outside by 2011. I realized that my son was getting ready in his final years of high school, so we did a transition to another location. I became a director productivity coach in the daytime, and then opened up my own company in 2011 for One Light Ahead. And my hometown, if those of you that have any clue where Victorville, California is, that was where I grew up at. And then I started expanding into LA County. Then by 2013, I went all over the state of California with my own company. And again, go back just a minute, I doubled company dollars in the year and a half I worked for with one company in 10 months. And so that earned me a nationwide reputation. So we just went on and on and on. By 2020, I think it was, we were, if not before then, I was expanding across the nation. By 2021, we opened up a corporation for a coaching agency, which is One Light Academy. So One Light Ahead, One Light Academy, as you can tell, I love the light bulb concept and the light bulb awareness, that when somebody has that moment of awareness, they have that aha, that is a light bulb opportunity. And the other way I say it in Slaying the Onion is we have the ability to give somebody the awareness of unveiling their highest potential. And that is that light within. And so there's a whole lot said there. I can back up to any piece you want to back up to.
That's beautiful. Well, so tell me, how did you come up with the one light? Was there an inspiring moment when you came up with that?
Yes, actually in 2006. So there are a couple things happened. I started when I was in real estate, I started using the one-way guide, and I was a big roadmap fan. So a future book will be road signs and the whole journey that happened. That's where I originally started. And the
Hmm.
first seminar was all about those road signs. I actually have quite a few tools from that. And I taught that for quite a while. And even one of my assistants at the time, she's like, you need to bring this to the high schools and teach this in the high schools. And ironically, somebody's been asking me about doing some kids' books as well with the Slaying the Onion, as well as these future books that we're working on. My publisher would tell you I've got probably 15 books sitting inside my head and heart. And
That's
so
great.
we're working on it yet. So I started off with the concept of one-way guide, and we had started that process, or I had started that. And eventually it became One Light Ahead because of the road signs. And April 6th and April 8th, my kids and I got baptized together as well. And so it was just that journey of that spiritual willingness and committing to everything that I did was to be a vessel.
Yes.
And so that's what I have worked on for the rest of my life. And some days I'm perfect, I'm never perfect. Some days I am more aligned. I say more often than not, 90% of the work I get to do is just being a vessel. And 10% of the time, my, ego will get in the way every once in a while. So
That does for everybody. And if it isn't, then you're not valuing what you have to offer to the world. So it's good that your ego gets in the way sometimes. I like
it
it.
is. Thank
Yep.
you.
And so you've mentioned your kids a couple of times. What impact did they have on, um, you know, raising kids is just crazy hard. Most people understand that have children. What kind of impact did they have on your choice to do the work that you do with One Light?
Ooh, beautiful. So there's every part of it, every
Mm-hmm.
part. So let's see. 2000, oh, I could tell you so many different dates. My son and my daughter both had some huge journeys.
Mm,
Imagine having your mom be a speaker, author, coach. That's, such a journey in itself. And so my
yeah.
kids, I used to say sometimes they'd have to call me by name because I wouldn't hear them say mom. So it was a real good journey of they came to work with me. I taught my son how to read, reading MLS printouts when we were going to look at property. My real estate clients would tease me and say, "We know when your kids are in the car and when they're not, because you're not as good of a driver when they're not." I was like, "Well, thanks for the heads up."
Yeah, there you go.
And then my daughter has some series of journeys, and we've talked, and it's more of her story to tell. We've had some big journeys there. And my son, well, as I tell everybody, as a mom, you go through the journeys with your kids. And so
Yeah.
there's been a couple different major journeys. I'm blessed that, I mean, I remember my daughter, we were sitting at Taco Bell one day. We had a lot going on. I had two assistants at the time. I had to fire one of the assistants because they were a bad influence on my daughter. I was
Mm,
the teenage years were not pretty.
yeah.
And so when you're working full time, and that was really the a lot of the turning points for me, is when you're working full time and you don't realize what's going on, and you're thinking you're providing them everything they want, and it's not really what they want,
Yeah.
or they wouldn't know how to vocalize what they really want. And so through the journey, that's why I ended up becoming a high school teacher. I learned a lot of what was going on in their world. I mean, at
Mm,
the time when I became a high school teacher, I didn't know how to do PowerPoint. I didn't know how to do any of those things. My high school students taught me that.
yeah.
And I taught my high school students how to play cash flow game. I taught students how to build businesses, how to do balance sheets. I mean, Robert Kiyosaki's game cash flow was part of our curriculum. That was a
Hmm.
really powerful process. So that was a beautiful opportunity. And so that was the beginning part of the journey. Both my children got to learn a lot of the business. I remember my son
Yeah.
saying to me, I was a better business woman, a leader than I was a mom. And that
Oh
was a kick in the
no.
heart. Yeah. So that
Oh.
was, those are, as a single mom for most of my children's lives, they had to go through a lot
Mm,
to handle, mom being able to do everything. So it was a good transition. And then when I became a coach and I really got to work through all my journey and be a vessel for everyone, including myself, it was a real big awareness. And so by 2019, I was finally getting to a place of, I had multiple coaches come out and we did a big event in a small town in California. And it was a full day event. And one evening, my son had come to help me get all the tech set up. We had done a social. He had borrowed my truck. And sadly, as I write about in Slaying the Onion, and I give a lot of these stories in Slaying the Onion, this is only a fourth
mm,
of the iceberg, if I say.
mm-hmm.
Uh, at 2 o'clock, 2:30, I guess it was in the morning, I got a call with him in tears, and he had been kidnapped that night. And it was an intense journey because
Mm,
one of the biggest ahas I had to work through. And that night, we were there all night. We had been called by multiple police officers. It was just an intense evening. I mean, thankfully, 3 years later, they did capture the two men that stole him. Not only did they get kidnapping, but they got grand theft because of my vehicle.
mm,
So They both got a multitude of years imprisonment, and my son was kind enough to have compassion and give them a settlement, which was shocking. But I remember the police officer calling me and saying, "Is your kid sane?" And I'm like, "I haven't heard this kid cry in years, so you better figure out what the heck just happened."
Oh,
And
wow.
the light bulb moment in that situation for me was when the sketch artist, who was also the coroner, said, "Here's the good news. I'm here today as a sketch artist, not the coroner." And I didn't know that at the time. So talk
Wow.
about a kick in the pants of reminder of what you had to be thankful for. And we went on. We couldn't talk about it. By 7:30 that morning, we were setting up for the full weekend event. Both of us were in shock. I mean, most people didn't know why my truck was missing because I impounded it. They didn't know why I was asking one of my sponsors to take some of our equipment with them. Like, why would you ask
Oh my
us? Where's your
gosh.
truck? And
Yeah.
it wasn't until it made the media. I mean, even the detective said when he was at an event for his family, they were asking, "Did this really happen?" And he's like, "Yeah, it really happened."
This episode is sponsored by me. So, as a special gift to you, our listeners, I offer a free one-on-one 15-minute breakthrough session. Bring a problem and experience how coaching works to see if it could be of value to you. Sign up for an available time on my website, intuitivewisdomcoach.com.
I just don't know how I would be able to live through that, but and thank goodness I haven't had to. So tell me how has that experience influenced how you work with your clients now?
Well, there's a couple of things that we get to teach. The first one is in chapter 3 of Slaying the Onion, I call it the crap to the fertilizer. You got crap happening every day, right?
Yeah.
And here's the exciting thing about crap. It can be really good fertilizer.
Yeah.
And
Having grown
when
up on a
we
farm, I know.
exactly.
Yeah.
And thankfully both my son, my daughter, and I have learned. And going back to that Taco Bell experience, my daughter said to me one day, "Mom, I want to be like you." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" And she's like, "Oh, don't get me wrong. I don't want any of the bad parts of you. I just want the great parts of you." I said, "I appreciate your honesty." And even
Yeah.
my son has said a couple of times since all that event, "Mom, some of your words have actually been helpful and inspiring." And I'm like, wow, that's exciting.
It's
And
interesting when they grow up and all of a sudden they're telling you that they see you as a human being, not just mom, right?
it's pretty powerful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I teach as I get to teach leadership across the country, I get to teach, different coaching clients, etc. And I remind people sometimes you don't always need to tell your story. You just need to know what questions to ask because you've been there. And you
Yeah.
need to be able to see them and hear them and invite them. And then when they're ready to hear your story, you can say, "Yes, I've been there." Yeah, more often than not, you just need to be able to know how to hold space for them. And having been
Yeah.
through so many different experiences, I mean, I have one client when she actually is a blessing. She wrote my foreword to the Slaying the Onion, and I asked her to read the book before it came out. And she says, "April, I had no idea. I had no clue you had been through these journeys." And my best friend from high school, she read it. She's given us testimonial since, and she said, "I had no idea. I was mad at you at first. Like, why didn't you tell me?" And I said, "I didn't know to tell you all of this."
Oh, wow.
And I said, when you're carrying things in your world, and that's what a lot of people, they feel on an island like that they're only ones going through something, and they're not. And
Yeah.
there are many of us that have been through a lot of madness, and we have learned how to take the crap and make it fertilizer. And so our opportunity is to help people say it's okay to talk about it. It's not, we don't want to play the victim card because we could have, believe me. And there are days that, that every once in a while you want to go in because we were real victims, right?
Yeah.
And yet we chose to be victorious out of it because we chose that this story can help people. And at appropriate times, it's just in questions. And other times it's let us share the whole story. And
Absolutely. Yes. And that's the one thing, and I like the crap to fertilizer metaphor because when you're in the middle of it, it's hard, especially if you suffer like I do with clinical depression. It's really, really difficult to add that on top of what you deal with on a daily basis with clinical depression. Just telling yourself, pull your pants up and let's go many times just doesn't work. Sometimes you need to know, like you said, that you're not alone, that there are other people who are going through similar, if not the same circumstances. And it's not to point them out as better than you or anything like that. It's just to give you hope that, you know, it will go away. It will change. There will be a day that feels good again. And that's very important, especially in coaching. And I like the metaphor of the onion, because it is true that if you're coaching properly, your client is going from talking about surface things to actually getting down into the whys and the wherefores and the why am I here's and here's how I want to live my life. So it sounds to me like that your program, as well as your coaching, does get to that point with your peeling the, I keep wanting
Slaying
to
the
say,
onion.
thank you. I keep wanting to say peeling the onion, but it's slaying the onion. All right. Got it. Got it. So tell me about what's next for you. What have you got planned coming up?
Well, we have a whole leadership series. So we have, and so we meet people in corporate America, introducing the concept of holding space and being able to create a community where you don't feel on an island. And we teach leadership principles. We have a big contract with a association in New York, and we're expanding that into the One Light Academy. And we've recruited 30 coaches. We're working to help actually more every year. My goal is 100 this year, believe it or not. I'm the type that
Wow.
shoots for the moon and lands among the stars.
There you go.
And so
I love it.
we have a Leadership One program that goes into the corporate America, 12 people each, and we walk them through leadership principles and just, building community collaboration. We just graduated an amazing group of a company 160 years old that has hired us to work with their team. And then we have a couple more coming up. Then we have, as you know, Leadership Two that goes as we'll do another group next month for the graduates of Leadership One. And then we have Leadership Three, which we call Valuegenic Self-Leadership Program. And you and I are both certified in that, and
Yeah.
we will be working on some projects on that. And then all the people that go through self-leadership, I require that now as a prerequisite for slaying the onion, so that they bring in the thought patterns that are actually going to help build the right muscles. Because we get, as you know, we have a bad habit of staying in our what we call our B game.
Yeah.
And if you bring the B game to, we practiced it a couple of times, and we found that helping them understand how to build the mental muscles of working with their highest level of thinking, prepared them to come and actually do a physical experience where we have a mat that has this visual. It takes up an 8 by 10 by 10 space. And you actually physically walk the mat with other people to see how you're building bridges and the different layers. And you walk through the layers because you don't realize how much your body takes precedence, if you will, in your thinking pattern. And so,
Yes.
and people can skip to Leadership 3 and 4 and do the self-leadership program or the valuegenic self-leadership program. And then if they want to, they can go to the retreat. The retreat is an in-person experience, and we are actually having one in Tahoe this year at a place that I've gone and done multiple retreats at. And this is now our own retreat. This will be our second annual year being in Tahoe. And then we bring, if there's a company wants us to bring it to them, we do that as well.
Oh, that's beautiful. It sounds like a lot of fun in addition to a lot of learning. So I'm glad you're doing that.
It's
So
quite intimate and challenging.
I'm sure. So I have three questions that I usually ask at the end of every interview. The
Please.
first one requires you to close your eyes to begin with. And I'm going to say a couple of words, and I'd like you to describe what appears in your mind when I say wise woman,
Mm.
and open your eyes and describe her to me.
Oh, beautiful. My godmom comes to mind. and a individual that is willing to meet people where they are, lead them
Mm,
to a beautiful
that
path.
that's very nice. A guide. Yes.
Mhm.
And where do you like to roam, April?
Ooh. Well, I spent 2 years as a vagabond, if you will. That was our college, or excuse me, our high school song was Rod Stewart, Forever Young. And
Yeah.
I have wandered all across the country. I'd like to wander to Hawaii and Italy soon, Ireland maybe. The East Coast, there's a section I haven't been to yet that I'm contemplating. So I love traveling and I love the beaches. I love the mountains. I love the ability to appreciate the beautiful nature.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. And the last question is, what makes you restless, but in a good way?
Mm. And one of the common themes of all my C-suite clients, many of them I've helped retire, and a lot of people learn that retirement is not about stopping working. Retirement is about learning how to live a life where you get to choose what you want to do, how you want to do it, and how you earn what revenue you want or don't want, or how you want to give to a nonprofit or whatever that may be.
Yep.
And the common theme was nothing's ever good enough. And what I have learned getting to help people define the definition of good and being clear about restless part of me is I always feel like there's not enough time, that there's so
Yeah.
many people to touch and there's so many opportunities. And so my coaches that surround me always have to remind me to focus on the most highest priorities because I want to serve everybody and everything. And
Yeah.
I've learned over the years to find the leaders that are teaching the other leaders. And
Yeah.
that's what I get to do now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being on the episode. I am so grateful to have you as a friend and a colleague. And
Thank you.
I want you to make sure people, when you listen to this episode, please look down in the show notes because April has some wonderful downloadables that you can check out. And obviously, we'll have a link to how you can get her book and how you can learn more about her program. So, April, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Julie. Appreciate you.
Julie Noonan here. Thank you so much for listening to Roaming with Restless Women. If you're a successful senior woman leader who would like to be on this program, please visit podcast.intuitivewisdomcoach.com. If you enjoyed this interview, please share this episode on social media and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Your thumbs ups and reviews go a long way.